I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by my co-host with Harrison Bader like hair.
Yeah, it's a weird ordeal. Katie is just proving to be childish.
Which is why I don't feel I would give $5 million to Jack Campbell.
I don't know. Baseball is one of those sports where anyone who makes the playoffs really can be a contender.
I think the Padres definitely do it.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell gets traded.
Kyrie Irving does have the track record of not being a great locker room fit, or even good locker room fit.
Bader got some luscious locks. I gotta say it.
This is Zach Bigley, the broadcaster for the Frisco Rough Riders, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin. You guys better subscribe.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week with, I would say, an exciting, for us, I think, storylines of just like none of these teams have really won a champion. Well, three of them haven't won a championship. One hasn't for the Knicks in 52 years, Austin. But an interesting slate, I would say, with the NBA Conference Finals.
Yeah, I'm cool starting with either side. Which one do you want to go over first?
Let's talk about the Pacers, because I remember we talked about this in the Cavs. You have Rick Carlisle getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Pacers, a team that I know he coached them before.
Well, they were in the conference finals last year.
Yeah, they were but yeah, he's had success with them, and of course a history. And I don't think the Pacers were looked at as a contender this year. They were looked at as a good team, especially last year too.
Yeah, I definitely thought that they were a contender for the conference finals before the year started, but I did not think that they were going to be able to beat the Celtics. But the Celtics, with injuries obviously noted, are out, and so they have a clear opportunity. And I think that the Pacers are a really, really good team. They're coached well. They're really good on offense, and they have good defensive pieces when they need to make stops.
Yeah, I think they're a well-coached team. And yeah, I guess I officially eat my words on the Knicks with I said Brunson would never make an Eastern Conference Finals with the Knicks as the number one guy. Yeah, as the main guy. So, yep, I'll eat that. I'll eat those words. And kind of looking at the Knicks, I'm really interested because like Halliburton is that number one guy, but there are also some really nice supporting pieces. I think of Pascal Siakam. You also have Miles Turner. And then you also have really nice pieces on the Knicks. So this one, I feel this one's going to be a close series. And I do think Thibodeau and Carlisle are going to have some fun matches. Like it's going to be like sort of old school coaching adjustments.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Both of the coaches here have been in the league a while, and that's kind of the nature of the NBA in a lot of cases, except in the other side, it's not really like that. I mean, with either of the guys there, but Thibodeau's been to conference finals. He's been to a lot of big series. But this was a matchup last year in the playoffs. This was the second round series, and the Pacers ended up winning in 7, I believe. Are we feeling the same way? Who do you give more trust in for this year?
I almost want to go Pacers because I trust Rick Carlisle more in these moments as a coach versus Thibodeau. I know he's been in these Eastern Conference Finals, but Carlisle, I think, has an impressive 2011 run. Of course, Dirk was a part of that. But kind of looking at it, I think the Pacers are a young team, and you have kind of a strong leader in Carlisle. Knicks are a young team, and I just don't know about Cat, even though this is his second straight year in the conference finals. So that does have some experience, but Brunson hasn't played in this moment. I'm also worried about just kind of how much pressure does Brunson hold with this on the offensive load. Same thing with Halliburton. So I think that's going to be a really fun matchup.
Was Brunson on the 2022 team? He was, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah,
so
he was.
He played in the conference finals.
He has played in the conference finals, but I do think this is a different evolution of Brunson. I don't think if Brunson stayed on the Mavs, you ever get the Brunson he is now.
Sure. But he's been the leader of the team, and I am excited. I also lead Pacers. Now, whether or not that's a curse or not, we'll have to figure out because we do we do agree here. But I think the Pacers are the better team, and I think that if you get the better team, I think both of the coaches are good. I do give the edge to Rick Carlisle, not just because he's won a title, but because he's been more consistent as a head coach over his tenure. But I'm excited for the series. I think that both cities really want a championship, and New York it's going to be a tough place to play.
And you know what's really funny, and a storyline that I don't think is going to get talked about is we talked about Brunson and kind of that run in that 22 run, but the year prior, you have Brunson only playing, I would say, 10 minutes in a critical Game 7 against the Clippers in a roster that needed playmakers for that Mavs team, and the coach was Rick Carlisle. And part of that did play into negotiations of, do we really want to pay this guy? But kind of looking at Nico as a GM, you have to question it a little bit more. But you do kind of have Brunson versus Carlisle again.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be a storyline. I feel like it's going to be a lot of desperation between both of these teams. I do think the Pacers are the better team, though, so I will go with the Pacers to win this series.
Yeah, I'll go with the Pacers as well. And I would go to the Timberwolves and Thunder, and I think I had the Nuggets winning, and it just didn't work out. The Thunder are just a really good team, but there were moments where it was,
I don't really trust. I mean, there's a lot of. Look, the Nuggets had a lot of injuries. And the biggest one for me is Michael Porter Jr. because he could not shoot. You didn't have that option for shooting around Jokic. And because of that, they could really play defense in a much harder way. I think the Timberwolves win this series. I think we have a Timberwolves-Pacers final.
You and I are in agreement because of a different reason. I think we saw the Thunder struggle with big size lineups against the Mavs, where you had Derek Lively and those centers. And I think you have that with the Timberwolves, who were the better defense last season and are a very good defense this year. And man, I'm trying to think. I like Anthony Edwards' game more than Shea, because Shea to me is very foul baiting. So I think Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert are going to have a huge impact on this series. And we talked about a few in that series between the Nuggets and Thunder is really, what does Chet do? And I do, as much as flack as Rudy Gobert gets, I do think Chet is going to have a tough time against Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, and Gobert's a really good defender. He doesn't get played off in the playoffs like some people think, and he's going to be a problem for a lot of these, for a lot of the driving. But I think this series is really going to come down to, can Jalen Williams stay good the entire series? I mean, we see him completely fall off in some big games, and also in Game 7, he played amazing. But I think the Timberwolves, they have experience in a conference final already, while this OKC Thunder team does not. They have a lot of players that have been there and been in big moments, and I think that Ant will outplay Shea this series.
Yeah, I think that's I agree. I feel Ant kind of went through that process last year of kind of when he got tired in the Western Conference Finals, just guarding. So I'm curious, how does he guard, but what has he done to get better? And yeah, I just don't think we've seen Shea in these moments compared to Ant, where they did come up short against the Mavericks, but we kind of saw what he did this playoff run. So yeah, so you and I are both in agreement. Pacers and Timberwolves in the NBA Finals.
That's what we have. I don't know how the ratings would be, but I'd be excited to watch it.
I would watch it. I don't know if I will watch it because I'm in that NBA kind of, I don't know, mode. But we'll keep an eye on it and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.